Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining the Partners webinar today. So as you saw on the invitation we sent, we'll be talking about the 2.3 release that will happen in June. For that, I'm happy to have with me on the other side of the ocean, John Evans from Boston, who will introduce you to the 2.3 features and some additional information. Just for you to know, you can ask as many questions as you want. We won't be answering the question during this webinar, but we will gather all the questions at the very end, and your dedicated channel manager will answer to the question. Good. Here you go, John. Welcome.
Thank you, Francois. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you all here on our webcast. We're really excited to talk about what we think are some very cool developments in the products, so I'm going to limit my remarks today about that. But as I mentioned, there's three things we want to really focus on today. The first thing I'll talk about is the new version of Akeneo PIM, which is going to be version 2.3. And the second is some new products. Now, we're really excited about this because we're basically becoming a multi-product company now. And those two products are the Akeneo Onboarder and a PIM accelerator for fashion. So I'll give you some details about that. And then I also want to take this opportunity to just mention to you and as a reminder what our support policy is and how that affects our releases. Now, we have not publicly announced any of these releases yet and any of the details, so we're giving you an early sneak peek at this, so I'd like to ask that you please don't tell anybody about the contents of our discussion today until we have announced the release. We will be issuing a press release on June 26th. So I would ask you to please don't do any tweeting, don't post anything to LinkedIn, don't write any blog posts, etc. until June 26th. Right now our press release is scheduled to come out in the morning in the U.S. time, which is going to be mid-afternoon France time, Western Europe time. So, once you see that on our website or see it on the press wire, you're welcome to whatever it is you want to do to promote our customers. So with that as background, let's start talking. So in version 2.3, we put a lot of emphasis into better managing product models that you see listed here on this page. And to make our PIM users more productive when they're managing and enriching product data. And so there's a lot of focus here on bringing these capabilities at the product off of the functionality that we started in 2.0 and continued in 2.1 and 2.2 and continues this work at basically at the product model and the product variant management level. So I'll go through each of these in turn. So the first area is in managing associations on product models. Defining associations at the product level, the variant product level, can be fairly time-consuming and can be a bit tedious because you need to repeat that work for every combination. So our objective in this release was to make continual progress and continually make this easier to do. So just to show you the evolution of these changes here, in 2.0, you could associate a variant product to another variant product or to a group of products. So for example, in this example, you could associate a large red t-shirt to size 32 black jeans. In 2.1, you could associate a variant product to a product model, so a little higher in the tree here. And for example, associate your large red t-shirt to the jeans model or the black jeans model, as the case may be, and then define those associations via a new bulk action that we introduced in 2.1. In 2.3, basically, you can now do it up and down the chain. So you could associate a product model to a product model, or a group, or a product or a group of products. So for example, you could associate the t-shirt model to the jeans model, and those associations will be done. So in 2.3, you have all of the possibilities to associate products, variant products, and product models. And this eases the process of defining common associations for all the variant products of a product model, but accomplished at the product model level. Also new in 2.3 is more flexibility on variant products, such as the ability to merge or split product models. And so you can now change the parent of a variant product or a sub-product model in the same family variant. The change that is enabled here to change the parent of a product model is now done through a new bulk action, which is called change the parent product model. You could also do it on import or through the API. So let's look at a couple of use cases here. So the first use case is a merge. Let's suppose in the ERP you've defined two models of beer. So the Left Ruby beer that are basically the same beer. They just come in different sizes, different packaging. So there's one model that comes with 33 centiliters and 75 centiliter volumes. And then there's another one that comes in 6 liters or the 6-liter triple pack if you're really thirsty. And the marketing team would like to keep only one model of the product with all the available sizes. So you've got the two products that are in the ERP, but the objective is there's no difference between these product models. It's the same ingredients and so forth. It's just a different packaging. So you can now change that parent of those 6-liter objects and make them all part of the single one Left Ruby product model. So that's for the merge use case. Second use case would be if you wanted to split. So let's suppose in the ERP, the buyers have created one t-shirt model with different colors, and there's some that are in basic solid colors on the left side and then others with colored flowers on the right side. But marketing wants to split these into two different models, even though technically it's the same product, but it's not the same target customer, it's not the same description, it's not the same season. So you can now take that one product model and split it up and basically make two different product models that have these solid colors and the flowered colors as variants under those product models. So that's a new capability to be able to change the parent of a variant product in 2.3. Another area we worked on in 2.3 is the ability to simplify some of the bulk actions. So again, you could select a product model in the grid, then you can add to a group as a mass action. You can change the status as a mass action. And in the enterprise version, you can publish in a mass action on the variant products. So you basically will be able to pick the product model in the grid, and then all those variant products will be updated depending on which actions you're taking here. So again, this is done in the spirit of trying to make the people who are working on the PIM, who are having to work on this data, much more productive when they're managing variant products. You don't have to do these things all at the variant product level. You can now do this at the product model level. Some of our customers have also asked for an improvement to help them focus. And the idea is to focus on only the attributes that they can enrich on a variant product or a sub-product model. So there's a new filter on the product form called Display All Level-Specific Attributes, and that will basically allow you to only see the attributes that need to be enriched at that current level. And the idea here is that marketers, instead of having to wade through a long page of all of the attributes that are there, it'll just display the attributes that are available for enrichment on a variant product or on a sub-product model level. And this allows them to just kind of not have to weed through extraneous things in the UI. So the benefit here is to be able to focus your work, spend your time on the items that need addressing, and then move on to the next thing. Another area is in the area of searching. And we've made some search improvements to be able to improve on the category. So you think about variant products, they can be fairly complex. Perhaps you just want to work on certain colors or sizes. You can now make that view and access that much more simply in version 2.3. So let's example here, we've got 3 levels of enrichment for products with variants in 2.0, and we added a smart search in the grid. for users to ease the search of products with variants and automatically display what they're looking for, either a product model or a product. And in 2.3, we continued that search improvement capability to display the product models or products classified according to a category that they can select in the grid. If the product model now is not classified in a selected category, but its children are, then those products will be displayed in the grid. So there's filters and attributes and categories that can be selected, and those will be taken into account to display the level you'd like to enrich. Let's look at an example. In this example here, you may have T-shirts that are in a category with 6 products at the size level. If you were to select the Christmas category, perhaps the red shirts are assigned to the Christmas category, you're going to display the one result with the 2 products. Or if you select the summer category, you're going to get the blue shirt with its 2 products. They'll be displayed. But if you then click on the small category, you're going to get a blue small shirt, a red small shirt, and a gray small shirt that'll be displayed. If you then click on the T-shirts category and filtered on red, then the red T-shirt model will be displayed in the grid with its 2 products. If you clicked on the T-shirts and you filtered on the small size, then you're going to get the red, blue, and the gray shirts, basically all 3 of those products displayed in the grid. So it just simplifies your ability to navigate through the various combinations of these product models and product variants. Another new feature is around getting filtered product models through the API. So you can now use filters to select those when you want to request that information, exactly like you would filter through classical product lists. So you can filter by category, by families, by groups, even by completeness, and update and creation date. You could also filter based on their values. So you could filter on getting product models that have a red color, for example. So it's additional power to the API to select the products that you're interested in working on. In the area of collaborating and getting proposals, you can now do that on the product model as well. So you can create proposals on the product model level. So in 2.3, you can now fully manage, through the workflow with this modeling and make these proposals on common attributes possible. So you could set a proposal for a common attribute across product models and then be able to review those proposals through the workflow in the Teamwork Assistant. So that's now available in 2.3 as well. Also in the area of the Teamwork Assistant, again, the Teamwork Assistant is designed to organize the work between teams and to help you in the product enrichment process, keep track of what you're doing. And so now in 2.3, you can manage projects including product models. So in 2.2, for example, at this level, if you clicked on the In Progress button there, you see you've got 33 products in progress. You actually it wouldn't return anything in the grid. But now in 2.3, if you click that box, you're going to see all of those items in the grid. It makes the Teamwork Assistant more powerful. It'll still tell you which are the complete products and which products still need to be reviewed, but now you can actually get access to those lower level details directly from the dashboard. So that's a nice improvement. Another interesting feature that we added, I put it under the category of what I'm going to call catalog safety controls. So this is really about making sure that you don't break your catalog. So the first one is there's a check that you can add to not remove a family with products. And a family is kind of an important notion inside Akeneo, and it helps define the attributes and the completeness of products. So we've added a check so that when a family is removed, has a product already assigned to it, you're going to get an error message. And this is just so that you don't end up breaking your catalog. The second was to check for whether an option is used as a variant axis. So before 2.3, you could delete an attribute option of an attribute using a variant axis on a product model, and this was sort of generating some undesirable behavior in the product variant list. So now we've put in a check there that says if an attribute option is used in a variant product or a subproduct model as a variant axis value, we're going to prevent you from removing that. So you'll get an error message to try to do that. And the idea here is that we're adding some additional control to prevent you from deleting a family with products or not to remove something like small, because that's a dimension that is used as a variant axis. So this is around protecting your catalog. It's the right way to think of it. We're also in 2.3 are making a couple of improvements into the PAM. The first one is about, basically they're adjustments about handling the way images are displayed. So there's two things. One is you can now order the assets directly within the collection, so you can drag and drop, move them around, and you can retrieve that order in the export file. You can also import assets in a certain order and see that order inside the PAM. And you can also now have a large display of an asset. So in the asset collection of the product form, if you click the thumbnail, you'll be able to see a larger version of the image. And there's now a slideshow that you can use to navigate between the assets. So a couple of features that we're able to add into the PAM and get into the 2.3 release. Final feature that I want to talk about in PIM 2.3 is a new tool that we're adding for monitoring the size of your product catalog. And this is an interesting one because we often get asked about scalability and how big is my catalog and how much catalog, what size can you handle? And the answer is not always obvious because there are many drivers that affect the size of a catalog. And so this catalog volume monitoring feature is going to help customers better understand the scope of their PIM, have some real numbers that can help them describe the value of the PIM to their organization. And we also think this will help evangelize and educate people about what the aspects of a product, of a catalog are that contribute to catalog volume. And in the spirit of always trying to improve the PIM's scale and performance, it helps Akeneo better understand the different typologies that are used across our customers' catalogs. So you may have seen, if you are following us on Medium, a recent post by our product manager for this feature, who wrote a post called "Because Your Product Catalog Typology Matters." And so that's available on Medium. The link is here for your reference. But I'd encourage you to check that out. And Nolan did a pretty exhaustive analysis about the science behind this, and has disclosed what the right math is to calculate the size of the catalog and so forth. So if you're interested in this topic, I'd encourage you to check out that post on Medium. So basically the way this appears now inside Akeneo PIM is a new dashboard screen. And you can see here some of the statistics that it includes. There's actually a link in here in the first section under the little information icon. It gives you a link to the article that we posted on Medium. And it shows the calculations you can go through to get a vision on the size of your catalog across the various dimensions that are noted here for product values and catalog structure. So that's cool new environmental tracking capability that's in PIM 2.3. So that's a quick overview of what's in the PIM 2.3 release. Now I'd like to talk about some of our new products. So as I mentioned, this June marks the transition of Akeneo from a one-product company to a multi-product company. And the first one I want to talk about here is the PIM Accelerator. And the concept of a PIM Accelerator is to provide an environment to help customers go faster, to jumpstart their Akeneo project. And as you all know, starting with Akeneo, first thing you need to do is start to build your catalog, model that catalog, and that can be a fairly complex and time-consuming activity depending on the scope of the catalog and how complex your catalog is, how many different permutations you need for your channels and so forth. And with anything that you're going to create, starting with a blank page can sometimes make it difficult to get started. Or you might begin down a path and then have to retrace your steps a bit because the order in which you're doing something needs to change. So given this reality, what we are seeking to do is make the catalog modeling process easier, reduce the time it takes to define the catalog, shorten the time it takes to go live. We also want the accelerator to enhance product quality as well, to enable you to make the right catalog for your channels so that you can ultimately positively affect your sales conversion rate. So these things are all tied together around the value you get out of the PIM. So what a PIM accelerator is a pre-built, preset catalog model that for a specific industry that a new PIM installation can use to help get the PIM started faster. So by using a PIM accelerator, new PIM customers can get their PIM going faster, should require somewhat less technical and functional support than if they had to build the catalog from scratch. And we believe that customers are going to more rapidly be able to adopt the PIM throughout their organization. And with a faster process of getting started, we think customers are going to be more satisfied with what they get out of the PIM as well. So the PIM Accelerator is a pre-built catalog, and it covers all of the core pieces of modeling the catalog. So attributes and attribute options, groups, families, family variants, product categories, asset categories, association types, one default channel. And so that's how our vision for putting these things together. So what we're announcing on the 26th will be our first PIM Accelerator, and it's going to be the PIM Accelerator for fashion. So it's a pre-built catalog that comes with everything that's listed here. So we've gone through and looked at the fashion industry and come up with a structure that includes 70 attributes, 9 groups, and a common set of options around typical things that you would find to describe fashion apparel, like color and the material and season and so forth. We've also built in a number of families and family variants to cover things like size and color and size and so forth. And then created a tree structure that covers categories and assets. And so they're organized by men's and women's and kids at a top level, and then clothing and shoes, accessories, a level below that, and then different product types at the third level. So the target here is, again, fashion, apparel, footwear, and accessories is really the way to think about this. There are also some association types that are already defined. And then there's locales and currencies for the US, France, and Germany, and then one default channel. So that's the general structure of what's included in the accelerator for fashion. Now it's designed, again, for new PIM installations, and it's a tool to really get those started faster, to bootstrap the PIM, if you will. And because there's value in starting with the accelerator, we will charge for this, but it's only a one-time fee, so it's not something you subscribe to and pay every year. You pay it once at the beginning, and that you've got a catalog that you can then start editing and changing and putting in the format that you need for your particular business. But once that catalog's implemented, you just simply maintain it like you normally would in the PIM. So there's no ongoing maintenance needed for the accelerator itself. It's not something you subscribe to. It's something you just pay for once. So here is a couple of screenshots just to give you an idea of what the PIM accelerator for fashion includes. So you can look at the attributes and get an idea for some of the attributes that are in there already. The catalog structure in the middle section, some of the families that are there in the selection box. We've also included some sample images of Akeneo wear, let's say, for all the Akeneo aficionados, just to give you an idea of what these things should look like and the kinds of attributes that are there on the asset collections. So it comes with these sample files that somebody can put in and then use that as a template for moving forward. To use it, basically, you access the accelerator on the portal, you install the add-on, you install basically it's a data set that comes with it, so you install the PIM with the data set, and then you go about the business of customizing it, so you can help customers, with that functional aspect of getting that catalog set up just so for their specific catalog needs. So that's all about the PIM accelerator for fashion. Now, the second new product I want to talk about is the Akeneo Onboarder, and you may have heard about this. I believe we talked about this at the APS in our roadmap, but this is a really exciting new product that we're offering for sale. And it's targeted at retailers who want to provide an environment for their suppliers to feed product information directly to them. What's the problem that we're trying to address here? Well, even if you have a PIM in place as a retailer to centrally manage all your product data from suppliers, there's still the issue of getting that data. Some suppliers provide a portal that you can go extract it from. Others, your category / brand / e-commerce manager here, who's looking a little sad, has got to juggle multiple files in multiple formats, probably with different information, might be different from what the retailer needs, might be a subset, might be a superset, might not be the same level of completeness you might have tens or hundreds or maybe even thousands of suppliers you've got to deal with. And there's a process that these people go through to, exchange emails, exchange Excel spreadsheets, phone calls, collaboration calls, and there's a lot of that work and a process that ensues just to obtain the data from the supplier. So this is the challenge we're trying to address. And so our intrepid category manager here, e-commerce manager, brand manager is faced with challenges around dealing with the complexity, dealing with the time it takes to enrich the data, dealing with the fact that it might be a long time to market. Maybe they want to get to market faster, especially if they're dealing with something like fashion where things change, new collections come on board regularly. And so by bringing suppliers into the loop, the expectation is that you can increase product quality. You're going to be getting data right from the supplier, right from the source. You're going to increase overall productivity on both sides of the equation. Both people are going to spend less time communicating, collaborating, sending spreadsheets and so forth. And if you're able to deliver a better product experience, then the retailer can help drive a better customer experience and therefore increase their conversion rate through their distribution channel. So this is the reasoning behind the onboarder here. The idea was to provide a dedicated, scalable, and secure solution for retailers to ease the whole process of collecting product information, especially in an environment where there's lots of products, lots of suppliers coming from providing lots of different products. And by dedicated, scalable, and secure, basically what I mean there is that they are going to have an environment that they can log into, but it's not directly logging into the retailer's PIM. But it's going to help the retailers get that data that they best need in order to best sell the supplier's products. So there's interest in both parties in making sure that this is easy and secure and streamlined. So the onboarder is like a platform for this collaboration to happen. And so there's a piece of it on both the retailer side and the supplier side. So there's a little piece of the onboarder for the PIM user, and then there's an environment for each of the suppliers to be able to log into. It's a cloud-based environment. They can log in and fill in the data that's requested of them. So let's think about the onboarder for the retailer side. What can they do? Well, they can set up the environment. They define who the suppliers are they want to work with. So in this example here, the screenshot shows there's 350 suppliers that they're having to deal with. And then they define the product requirements. So here are the fields we need. Here's what our e-commerce site, for example, or our catalog is going to look like. Here's the data that we want. Define those requirements. What data they expect. And then once the supplier adds that data in, then the retailer can go through and review the product changes and then accept it or reject it. The other cool thing about this is that suppliers can also propose new products for the retailer to carry. So on the supplier side, it's pretty simple. They're going to log in and they're going to start enriching the products, filling in the data that they want, but they can also propose new products. So they might say, well, you're carrying product A, but we also have product B that you're not currently carrying, and here's all of its data. So all they have to do is fill that in on the onboarder, and then the supplier can say, the retailer can say, oh yeah, I want to do this one, or maybe they have a trusted supplier, somebody they know has good products that are popular products, and in that case, the retailer can set it up so that they just mass accept any products that the supplier proposes. So that's an option that can be in place for certain suppliers that you trust, and for others you may want to review everything that gets posted until you've got a track record of working with them. But the idea here is that with the onboarder, suppliers and retailers working together to reduce errors, improve the data quality, reduce the complexity of communications going back and forth, drive better process efficiency, and then reduce the time spent on enriching data, making them both that much more productive. So that's the summary of this new product, the Akeneo Onboarder, that we're announcing on June 26th. And this will be a product that we will sell. There will be a price associated with it. We're putting the final details on that, but it'll all be updated into our pricing list that you have access to on the partner portal. So that summarizes the product announcements I wanted to talk about today. I do want to take few seconds here to briefly remind people about our releases and our technical support policy. So last year we adopted the policy of short-term and long-term support for our releases. Our short-term support's short-term, it's basically a 3-month support on a release, and long-term support's about 1.5 years. So we currently have 2 long-term support versions, 1.7 and 2.0. That will be supported, I believe, through March of next year. 2.3 is going to be a long-term support version as well. 2.1 and 2.2 are short-term support releases. So we want, with the release of 2.3, we want to encourage customers to upgrade as soon as possible off of 2.2 and off of 2.1 if they haven't already. The short-term support versions are really designed for people who they're either SaaS customers or they've got a feature there that they absolutely need in order to move forward. If they don't need those features, then they may not be necessary for them to upgrade to those. But we do want to get people on the LTS versions as quickly as possible to make sure they're taking advantage of the new features and can avail themselves of technical support from us over the longer term. In summary, 2.3 is coming out on June 26th. 2.3 is also an LTS version, so we want to get customers to upgrade. We have 2 new products that we're very excited about that we can sell to customers. The onboarder for, again, retailers and suppliers, and the PIM accelerator, the first one's for fashion. Now, the PIM accelerator, I may not have mentioned, is also, that will work with 2.x. So if somebody, for some reason, is still on 2.0 or wants to be on 2.0, they can use the accelerator today. The onboarder will be coming out actually in July, probably not available on the 26th, but looking more like July. But we're going to be announcing it on the 26th, and it'll be able to ship a little bit later in a couple of weeks. So that's the summary. I appreciate you all logging in today. I don't know if you've asked some questions, but feel free to do so, and we'll follow up with them as Francois mentioned. And again, just a reminder to please hold off from doing any public communication about the 2.3, the onboarder, and the PIM accelerator until the 26th of June once our press release is posted. So with that, let me turn it back over to Francois.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you for the update. This webinar is now over. Thank you for listening. We got your question, so your channel manager will come back to you with the appropriate answers. The webinar is recorded and it will be available on the partner portal very shortly, by the end of the week or latest next week. Sorry to insist, but John, as John said, do not communicate on this. Don't talk about it before it's actually available. We'll see you back for the next partner webinar in September. Since then, have a nice summer. Enjoy the World Cup for those who are part of the World Cup. Sorry, Marco. And I'll see you later. Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.